Welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. And now your host, Tim Johnson.
With more than 55,000 students and institutions across the state, LSU is a significant driver of Louisiana's economy. We'll talk to Dr. William Tate, president of LSU, when we return on this edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
Louisiana businesses, by partnering with your local community and technical college foundation, you're guaranteed a skilled, highly competent workforce, homegrown talent, trained specifically to meet your needs, whatever those needs are. Visit this website to learn more about how to partner with your local Louisiana Community and Technical College Foundation. To better prepare for tomorrow, become a partner today.
Before you hire someone to work on your home or business, protect yourself. Go to lacontractor.org and make sure he or she is licensed in Louisiana. That's lacontractor.org for a list of over 26,000 licensed contractors. It's your money. Make wise decisions and protect yourself.
Today we're in Lafourche Parish, Louisiana, where we're building terraces along the hurricane levee system. These terraces will provide shoreline protection in the marsh, which will protect homes and businesses in South Louisiana.
So our terracing projects, there's a great partnership with industry to prove that we can help the environment and protect our levee system. Without investments from the industry and companies like Chevron, projects like this would not be possible.
In Louisiana, oil and gas and the community are all connected.
Industry partners help Ducks Unlimited do what we do best, protect South Louisiana.
Louisiana has over 26,000 licensed companies that do business legally and meet the needs of our state. Before selecting a contractor, check references and verify the license at lacontractor.org. It's your money. Make wise decisions and protect yourself from being scammed.
For 8 seconds in the arena before an afternoon in the field. For a promise to students that honors success in the classroom. For championships earned on the bayou. For innovators committed to reclaiming our coastline. The Universities of Louisiana. For your future. For our future.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Dr. William Tate, president of LSU, is our guest. Dr. Tate, I feel like I should say both welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show and welcome to Louisiana. It's a great honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you. Great to be in Louisiana.
Good. A lot for us to talk about and unpack as we go along. We always try to start, Dr. Tate, with a little bit of background. Tell us who William Tate is and a little bit about the path that led you to LSU.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago, and I always tell people I'm from Chicago by way of Mississippi. My grandparents were from Mississippi, and the south side of Chicago is largely Mississippi. So if you give me a quiz on anything Southern, I'm gonna pass. And I started my academic career in a small agricultural town in Illinois, which actually has been most beneficial to me being here, given ag is our second largest industry. And matriculated through school there and continued on through the PhD path. And my first academic job was at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Another big ag school, and a place where the creed of the school was that the University of Wisconsin should touch and change the lives of every single family in the state of Wisconsin. So at its core, as an educator, that's how I think about my work here in Louisiana. Most recently, I was at the University of South Carolina, where I was the provost, and spent some time here at LSU while I was provost. Took a beating over there at Tiger Stadium during the COVID year. And then it all worked out for me to land here at LSU as president.
Well, I think I can speak for most of the alumni when we tell you we're very pleased to have you here. What specifically, Dr. Tate, about this opportunity intrigued you? You've had a pretty impressive academic career. Specifically LSU, why here, why now?
Well, it first started, I was in Missouri at Washington University in Missouri, and I'm a geospatial scientist, and I started to study the American South. And, I told you my roots, Chicago by way of Mississippi, and I just really cared about the South. It was a part of who I was. And I started seeing some things in maps. For example, I looked at the number of inventors per census group across the country, and I saw the South was a little smaller than the Midwest or the Northeast or the West. And that intrigued me, like what could we do to, get an uptick on that? And then as an epidemiologist, I started looking at health outcomes. And, in the South, there's some tough health outcomes, as you well know. And then a big thing about my own upbringing was, so what are you going to do with this? And back to my training at Wisconsin, the state schools should be impacting every single life, in our case, every parish. And what ended up happening is that I had the opportunity to go to South Carolina, and you sort of bite the SEC bug, if you will. I learned a lot about the SEC at South Carolina. I knew more about the Big Ten, to be quite frank, before. I saw the great research in the SEC and the quality of it. And I happened to visit here for a football game, got a chance to look around. I said, what a beautiful campus, great place. And they also have some of the things that I'm passionate about on the health side, the ag side, and the like. And once I got involved with the process and start meeting the people of Louisiana are quite special. You put all that together and the door opened and I walked through.
Here you are. I mentioned in the show's open that LSU is among the most significant drivers of Louisiana's economy. The fact that it's an educational institution and not a business, most folks might not clearly understand that, but you obviously understand that clearly. And LSU had a record year in research, over $166 million. Talk about the critical importance of that research and the critical importance of LSU as an economic driver in Louisiana.
Right, so the Baton Rouge campus had a record year. It was amazing. If you take the totality of the LSU family, it's over $360 million, which puts us as one of the very, very best research-oriented schools in the United States of America. You cap it with 2 medical schools, one in the north, one in the south, Pennington Biomedical. So now you have a biomedical frame throughout the state that's quite important. And then you add on the fact that we have an ag center and we do great agricultural research and other work in our campuses in Alexandria. And great science actually happening in Eunice as well. And it becomes very special because ag is a driver, energy is a driver, the coasts are drivers, and that framework of the LSU family is informing the evidence that's actually keeping the state going and sustaining it. It's a 3-to-1 deal on research dollars returned. So close to $1 billion of return just on research dollars this past year. Those are jobs and life-changing deals, but all the inventions and discoveries protect the people of the state, and that's quite powerful.
One of the things that you are focused on is talent development, right? Because educational institutions exist in many ways primarily to prepare individuals to participate successfully in the economy. And LSU's focus is there, and you're working with some really significant employers, Canes, Amazon, Guild Education, Our Lady of the Lake. Talk just briefly, Dr. Tate, in the minute or so we have left in this segment about those partnerships and specifically what LSU is doing to prepare individuals to work in those fields.
Right, so the first 3 examples you laid out are really related to our online opportunities. Quite powerful to be able to take the knowledge base at LSU and share it in a digital format with people all across the state. It's like taking the ag model or the extension model and just pushing it out across a wide variety of disciplines. It really changes the life course of the individual who has the experience. And then you have the Our Lady of the Lake deal where we're dealing with sports medicine, cancer, and other kinds of things that are extremely important to the people. It makes a big difference. We need to have more healthcare providers, and that partnership's going to provide that.
Well, and that's a $245 million partnership with Our Lady of the Lake over 10 years, so it'll be something that we can watch closely as we go along. I want to take a break. I want to come back and talk about the scholarship first agenda that you've put in place. It's fascinating and it's groundbreaking, and I think it's something that can make a big difference in Louisiana. We're visiting with Dr. William Tate. He's the president of LSU. You're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
As humankind faces its most critical challenges yet, the world demands leaders, and LSU is taking up the charge. The research we do here goes everywhere to protect communities threatened by climate change, so you can live your life with fewer worries about tomorrow. We're formulating a better way for everyone, because at LSU, our calling is humanity.
Plants would not be operating if they weren't operating under the regulations to keep everybody safe and keep the environment safe.
It also goes back to the end products that our raw materials go into.
Solar panels,
windmills,
reusable bottles. Primary product is acrylonitrile, which is used to make carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber in an airplane is used to make it lighter.
By reducing weight, we indirectly help the environment because it uses less fuel. And for us to make products that help reduce carbon footprint is a big deal.
So, how can I help you today? Maybe you're looking for a bigger home. Maybe you have plans to grow your business. Or maybe all your plans have just changed. For the better. Whether you're planning for the future or just looking for a bank that cares about you. If you have a goal, let's make it happen.
This is what you're looking for.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Dr. William Tate, president of Louisiana State University, is our guest. Dr. Tate, you have implemented a program you're calling the Scholarship First Agenda. Now, I've read a little bit about it, obviously very impressed by it, by its elements, but tell us what it's about.
Well, let's start with the aim of LSU. Our aim is to protect and secure the future of the state. And so in order to do that, you have to have an agenda that aligns with protecting the people, because that's the bottom line deal. And our agenda is fivefold. We call it our Pentagon, also referred to as the Scholarship First Agenda. And for those who like the ABCDEs, I'll make it simple. The first is A, agriculture. Agriculture is the second largest industry. Right now, if you look at world events, you see the importance of agriculture.
Right.
The cost parameters going through the roof. We want to make sure the research that happens at LSU builds a digital engineering type platform that allows our agriculture industry folks in the state to maximize the land here and be extremely effective, because we're going to need it not only for the state, but we're going to need it for the country and part of the world. It's really a big deal, and I think that that's a big part of what we want to get done. So it's really enhancing that research. The other is biomedical, and in particular, we're interested in having a national cancer designation for our LSU medical centers. That designation would mean that the best evidence is being generated here to provide services for the people of the state. We don't want you to have to leave to get cancer care, to go down to Texas. I love Texas. I'm a naturalized Texan. But I think you should be able to get the best care here as well.
And I think the partnership with Our Lady of the Lake
is definitely a part of building our
Exactly.
footprint and infrastructure out there, seeding our cancer research. And that money will be used not just at the Baton Rouge campus, but it will be used in our medical center in Shreveport. It will be used in our medical center down in New Orleans. It will be used at Pennington, Alexandria, Eunice. Anybody who's doing cancer-related research, those chancellors all know it's all hands on deck on cancer. And so we're really excited about that. And we want to serve the people. The third, coast. I haven't been here long. Had my first hurricane when I arrived.
That's right.
Pretty big deal. I will say this, the people of Louisiana are tough as nails because 176 mile an hour winds is shocking when you look at it. We want to help protect the people on our coast, keep the coast restored, and actually make sure that it's vibrant over time. And that requires great science and engineering. And so we want to really, really have an uptick in what we're doing. We have a top 5 program in coastal science and engineering at LSU. And in light of the press of our problems, we need to be the very best. That's right. And so that's a big part of what we want to do. The other part of the university's purpose is to maintain its heritage and make sure people understand its culture. And defense, as you know, as LSU alum, was part of the origin of LSU.
That's right.
A big part of it started off with actually someone who was a general, Sherman, and The Boyd brothers, they were all part of, they were military people. And they brought a military emphasis to going out to the farms and bringing people back to study at LSU. Quite powerful. We don't want that purple line to ever be blurred. We want it to be strong. And we see the world through a modern lens. Right now, the greatest attacks are cyber. And so we want to build out a strong cyber core all the way from New Orleans to Shreveport. We want it to be outstanding, the best evidence generated. We want to help the United States military. We're already in partnership with the State National Guard, the state police, the National Security Agency. NSF has given us a designation to say we're really doing some good things, and we want to push that out and defend. And by the way, this is a small business show. You can't have a small business today without a cyber plan.
That's exactly right.
We want to be able to provide support, both technical and logistical, so that people can look to LSU and the family all across the state to get the support they need. And finally, energy. That's our number one industry. And again, if you look at the times we're in, and I call it currently what we're living through is our generation's Sputnik moment.
That's right.
It is, we're looking at what the Russians are doing and the energy related to it, and the cost parameters just go to that pump. I'm sure the cost of business is going through the roof right now. We want to make sure that we're providing the best research and human capital, people developed, who are going to work in the energy industry and creating alternative forms of energy in combination with what we do traditionally, so that the state is very strong. And if you put those all together, we really have a plan, this Pentagon, to protect and secure the people of Louisiana for years to come. So if you look at your grandchildren or your children, we're in the business of making sure that they can experience Louisiana in ways that are quite positive, and that you can just say, hey, LSU gets it. They're trying to help our family.
Well, I was exceptionally intrigued when I read about the Scholarship First agenda and the Pentagon. A couple of things I'd like to unpack there. Number one, something you said as you were talking about the coast. We want the top program in America. We're top 5 now, but our goal is to be the best. I think for too long, Dr. Tate, one of the things that's held Louisiana back is we've been content to be mediocre in a lot of ways, right? I can remember conversations in the legislature talking about, well, if we can pass this bill and we can move forward, we can get to the average in the South. And I thought to myself, really, is that our goal, to be average in the South? Why can't Louisiana be top 5 in America in everything it does? And you're pushing with this agenda toward that space.
Sir, I'm 100% committed. Let's take the cyber and defense. There's no reason why LSU couldn't be the number one place where the military would come to get cyber soldiers. There's no reason we couldn't be one of the very best top tier places in cyber-related research. We're interested in forensic cyber. We should be looked at as the go-to place in the country for that. And we're going to make that investment to make sure that happens. We're not satisfied with being second tier. You know, if I came here as president and said it's okay if our football team finishes in 8th place in the SEC, they would have run me out of here. I will not be satisfied unless we have the same mindset and cultural kind of traditions that say our scholarship should be first. We really have to take on that mindset. We've learned, we have great coaches. We have great faculty. Let's add more and more and bring in great students. And that mix is going to help us have a scholarship first agenda.
It will be a great day in Louisiana when we care as much about our academics and our academic success as we do about our football team. I'll take a break. I want to talk a little bit more about the scholarship first agenda when we come back, and whole lots more. We're visiting with Dr. William Tate. He's the president of LSU. You're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. Dr. William Tate, president of LSU, is our guest. Dr. Tate, we talked about in the last segment your very impressive scholarship first agenda and the Pentagon, the 5 areas that you want to focus on to drive Louisiana into the future. As I was researching that and the information that's available, I read something that I thought was worth talking about today. And it says, the Scholarship First Agenda is about gathering the most talented people possible with clear purpose and priorities and anchored on a strong partnership to relentlessly pursue a world-class teaching and learning environment, again, not average, world-class, internationally recognized research, and a student experience that is second to none. Talked about this with Dr. Jim Henderson of the University of Louisiana System about a program he has put in place that is brilliant in its simplicity. Talk a little bit about a world-class teaching and learning environment and a student experience that's second to none.
The foundation of the university is discovery. And the special part about LSU is that we are a distinctive research university that has a mission around the sea, the space, the land. It is really distinctive. And we also find ourselves with very, very talented students in the state. We've got to find a way to keep them in the state. And the way to do that, I firmly believe, is to provide a place where undergraduates and graduate students, PhD students and the like, come together and experience finding the truth. There's nothing more powerful than that. There are a lot of people that simply, you get to read a book or two, but when you get to come to a place where literally people are cutting edge discovery, that's what differentiates LSU from everything else in the state. I mean, respectfully to all my colleagues, we find the truth. And if you can come there and experience that, that's life-changing. You're going to go out and be a citizen, a business person and the like, and you're not going to be moved by things that folks who don't have the same kind of education have. That's the special part of this deal. And we think we have those 5 areas, and you can study a wide swath of things beyond our 5, that people are cutting-edge researchers and scholars. And we want to make sure student success to us means that you come, you matriculate. The most expensive education you can have is the one you don't finish. And we want to make sure people come to LSU, they finish their degrees, they have a chance to have some undergraduate research under their belt or a great internship or study abroad. And if you get all 3, you're as well educated as you possibly can be. And you're ready to add value here in the state of Louisiana.
You're ready to go out and, as I say, compete successfully in Louisiana's economy. Let's talk a little bit about the LSU system, right? We mentioned in the open 55,000 students, campuses all around Louisiana, LSU Alexandria, LSU Eunice, LSU Shreveport, the medical schools in both Shreveport and New Orleans, Pennington Biomedical, the law school, the Ag, all these wonderful places. Things are going on at each of these locations that I think are worth mentioning. Talk about a few of them.
Let's start in Shreveport. Amazing. They've linked up. They have a great cyber laboratory up there. They're providing a comprehensive education for students. We just visited there in one of our board meetings. And you're impressed if you go on the campus. The young people are respectful and eager, and there's great academics happening there. They have an aligned setup there with the medical center, which has increased its research 3 to 4 times over the last 5 years, really making a difference in biomedical science. And of course, they produce doctors at scale. In the most recent match, they had 99% match. About 44% of those students are going to be staying right here in Louisiana. That's an investment and great bang for the buck. We keep moving down the state. You think about Alexandria.
Our mutual friend, Dr. Paul Corio.
Oh, what an amazing guy. I mean, I know him. He's now a member of the Ag Hall of Fame here in the state. Outstanding leader who has a vision. They have a success center coming up. Their enrollment is growing. At a time when we're taking the demographic cliff, they're actually drawing students right there. An amazing place. Eunice, first place I visited in my tour, I go into a building and there are some students there doing undergraduate research at a 2-year university that's going to be published. Where does that happen? Look at their production function in terms of their graduates. It's one of the best I've ever seen for a 2-year school. Outstanding investment in bang for the buck. Baton Rouge, we all know what's happening here in the flagship campus and at Pennington. Great work in terms of research and scholarship and wonderful students. And then finally, we get down to New Orleans. The cancer research that's happening there is elite and growing leaps and bounds. They're going to knit together with our colleagues in Shreveport at the Medical Center and Health Center there to have really great research that's across our system. So I'm really confident right now that as we knit these assets together, people are going to begin to see a tremendous momentum.
Wonderful momentum at all of these places. 20 seconds left, Dr. Tate. Your message to Louisiana's business community.
Simply stated, we're here for you. Our bottom line agenda is a business agenda. Every single thing I talked about in the Pentagon develops small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and it helps our larger industries. We're going to have an aligned business platform that the research is not just for pure research, but applied to industry in ways that adds value. And we're going to take the digital age that we're in very seriously to provide supports for small businesses.
Well, listen, I have heard nothing but good things over the 8 or 9 months that you've been here. The agenda is impressive. You are impressive, Dr. Tate. Keep up the good work. Keep driving Louisiana toward excellence. We'll look forward to having you back on every year to talk about what's going on.
I look forward to it, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. That's a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next week at this very same time for another edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.